What's going on, guys? It's your man EK here with the Hoop Coalition, back again with episode 5 of the Clutch City Review, reviewing every game from the 2023-2024 Houston Rockets. And obviously, we got a lot to get into because the Houston Rockets absolutely put on a clinic last night against the Sacramento Kings. But before I get into all that, like I start all my videos, please, if you like what I have to say, please go ahead, like, share, and also subscribe to the channel. And also follow me on Twitter and IG. On Twitter is going to be at Coalition Hoops. And on IG is going to be at coalition.hoops. Slight difference, same channel, same page, same message, same analysis. Let's get into it. So, I wasn't able to watch the game last night because I was out, right? I was out, doing some things with the family. So I was able to watch the game earlier today, and I really loved what I saw, right? From the opening tip, right? Pause. From the opening of the game, we were able to control the pace. We were able to control the rebounding. We were able to control our defensive effort. And the shots that the Sacramento Kings were getting, there were a lot of very bad. Well, I wouldn't say bad. We were able to contest a lot of shots that the Sacramento Kings were able to hit, or that were able to take, especially in the first and also fourth quarters. Though in the first and fourth quarters combined, we actually outscored the Kings 69-40, right? 69-40, right? That's a differential of plus 29, right? Just goes to show when you're able to create offense from your defensive efforts, especially in the half court, it leads to transition buckets and guys can get going very easily. And that's what happened in the first and also the fourth quarters, right? Also, last night, we did a very good job of shooting from the field. We shot 46% from the field, and we shot 36.1% from three, while holding the Kings to shooting 38.1% from the field and 26.8% from three. Now, we hit 13 threes, they hit 11, but they attempted more threes than us. And really the main thing is that we were able to hold them to very tough contested shots, and we didn't give up a lot of offensive rebounds. We beat them on the offensive boards 10-8 last night, which showed that we were able to control the pace of the game both offensively and defensively, right? Now, with that being said, we were still able to also win points in the paint. So we were able to win on the perimeter, and we were also able to win the points in the paint battle 54-42, right? Why is that important? Because we're not a very great three-point shooting team, right? So if we can get efforts of beating teams in the paint, scoring-wise, right? And then we can also get marginal to really good efforts from the three-point line between 36 and 38%. That's sustainable, right? Especially for our starting lineup that has a combined plus minus this year of plus 47, which equals out to about plus 9.4 plus minus per game, right? Which is pretty good compared to where we were last year. And a lot of that has to do with the guy I'm going to talk about now, which is Fred VanVleet. Now, Fred VanVleet is not a very efficient player. I think a lot of Rockets fans understood that when we signed him, right? However, the good thing is that he's a very willing and able playmaker. Why do I say that? Last night, Fred VanVleet didn't have the greatest game, right? Shooting-wise. He had 21 points. He had 6 rebounds. He was 7 of 22 from the field and 4 of 14 from three. He struggled shooting the ball, right? But where was he able to impact the game? Passing and playmaking. He had 12 assists last night, only 2 turnovers, right? That's emblematic of what he's been able to do through the first 5 games. He's had the first 5 games, 3 of them he's had double-digit assist games. Right now, I believe he's 6th in assists. He's averaging 8.8 assists per game, right? He's playing extremely well right now, extremely well. He has an assist-to-turnover ratio of, I believe, is 2.7 assists to 1. Which is very solid and very good. And that's something that can really help us, right? Especially when you have guys like Jabari Smith, Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun. All these guys have the ability to score in a variety of ways, right? And Fred VanVleet, knowing he can also get his shots off, but also understanding that he's going to have the ball in his hands most of the time, especially with Amen Thompson now. He's definitely going to have the ball in his hands most of the time. So he's going to have the opportunity to play make for other guys. And that's what we're seeing through the first 5 games, right? The Houston Rockets, we're not really top 10 in anything. The only thing we're top 10 in is assists. We are the 10th best team at assisting the basketball. And also we're 6th in assist differential, with a +3 differential between versus us and opposing teams, which shows that we are moving the basketball. Player movement and ball movement is something that not only I think contributes to winning, but it also contributes to a healthy culture, especially when you have a lot of young guys who want to try to prove themselves. Move the ball around, share the wealth, and let guys get the opportunity to show what they can do, right? And with that being said, I want to move to Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith had 2 rough games to start the season. Third game, he played a little bit better. These last 2 games, he's been awesome. Last night, he played amazing. He was 21. He had 21 points, 11 rebounds, 9 of 15 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, and he was doing it in a variety of ways. Pump fake, one or two dribble pull-ups, getting to the rim, right? Coming off a screen, shooting off of those screens, right? Pulling up in transition, corner threes, offensive rebound putbacks, like everything. A guy with his ability at his size, all he needs is the opportunity to show what he can do. And he's one of those guys that, we kind of saw it in Summer League, everything he had been working on. And we're starting to see that sort of show itself now, right? Just how intentional he looks when he's on the floor. He's either looking to attack the basket, or he's going to look to maybe hit a swing action to get to get somebody an open shot when the defense is maybe late on the closeout. Just those sort of things, right? Thinking the game in a well-rounded way is going to make him such an asset for the Rockets moving forward, especially if we're able to bolster up the bench. Not even talking about getting Tari and Amen back, but also if we're able to bolster up the bench by maybe getting off of Victor Oladipo. That's going to be something that we're going to talk about later on down the line, right? But I love what I saw from him. And I got to talk about the guy that I think a lot of Rockets fans, or maybe some Rockets fans, were very trepidatious about bringing in, and that's Dillon Brooks. I said it in my last video. Dillon Brooks has been awesome. He's been amazing. I am really starting to understand with each passing game why the Memphis Grizzlies fans, why the media, why everybody within that organization, within that sphere, really cherished Dillon Brooks, despite what everybody else was saying about him, right? Because when you get to see this man play on a night in, night out basis, not just looking at clips, not just looking at, him saying something to somebody and then him maybe not necessarily living up to that and things of that nature. Like when you get to see him on a game in, game out basis, you realize how incredibly talented and incredibly valuable he is. The man had 26 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists last night. I'm sorry, 1 assist last night, 1 steal. He was 9 of 14 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. And the one thing I like about him is not only has he taken on the responsibility of being our premier perimeter defender, meaning he's going to take whoever the opposing team's best perimeter player is, he's going to try to pick them up. He's going to try to guard them the majority of the game, right? He's also really found his offensive rhythm, right? What people tend to forget is that Dillon Brooks is a capable shooter. I'm not saying he's Steph. I'm not saying he's like a Dame or anything like that. I'm not saying nothing like that. But for the 5 games that he's played, this man is shooting 60% from the field. 60% from the field. To put it in perspective, he right now, out of everybody in the NBA who attempts 10 or more field goals, he's 3rd in field goal percentage right now, which is incredible for a man who's not 7 foot tall. Right. Nikola Jokic, I think, is 1st. Right. And then when we look at the 3-point attempts, he's averaging about maybe 4.8, 5, somewhere around there, 3-point attempts per game. He's shooting around 60% from 3. Right. And we're not just talking about catch and shoot threes. We're talking about a variety of threes. Catch and shoot, coming off of a pin down, coming off of a side screen and roll, in transition. He's hitting them at an extremely high level. while being our best perimeter, not even perimeter, our best defender through the first 5 games of the season. This is exactly what we needed when we signed him. A lot of people in Rockets Nation, a lot of Rockets fans were very trepidatious because of the reputation and the immaturity and things of that nature. And what you realize is that when you watch these players game in and game out, all of that propaganda that came with him, it's all hogwash. Through 5 games, it has been at least. He's been absolutely amazing for us. And his defensive effort has been contagious. I see Jabari moving his feet a little bit more, contesting better. His defensive timing is better. I see Fred VanVleet, who's always been a willing defender. He's trying to stay attached to guys on the high screen and roll action when he's on defense. You know, Jalen, even though he didn't have the greatest game last night, you could see, especially in the fourth quarter, he had some amazing passes. I think he had 4 assists in the fourth quarter alone last night, even though he didn't shoot the ball well. That's maturation. That's maturity. You're not always going to have a great shooting night. I believe he shot 4 of 12 last night. You're not always going to have a great shooting night, right? But how can you impact the game in other ways, right? Although he had 10 points, he was 2 of 7 from 3, 4 of 10 from the field. He had the second best plus minus out of any Rocket. He was plus 26. Alperen Sengun had the best plus minus. He was plus 27, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, it's like Jalen Green was able to say, let me get out of my own way. Let me get out of my team's way. I don't have it tonight. Fred's got it going as far as playmaking. Alperen Sengun always has it. He had 15 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 to 13. Just another ho-hum, super efficient game from the best big man in the West, or at least in Texas, right? Dylan Brooks obviously was amazing. Jabari was amazing. Jay Shante had 11 off the bench. So I think Jalen Green was like, listen, let me try to make other plays that will continue to allow us to get quality looks on the offensive end and try to limit the Sacramento Kings to 1 shot per possession down the floor. And also to limit transition opportunities for the Sacramento Kings. Now, the one thing I would like to see us clean up are the turnovers. We had 11 turnovers last night, which for us is definitely an improvement. But at the end of the day, if we can get those turnovers under 10 on a semi-consistent basis, that's only going to allow us to have better opportunity to get better shots in the half court and also in transition, right? Also, another thing I want to talk about is the fact that I think our bench is probably our weak point right now. Like I said, Jayshawn Tate came off the bench with 11 points, but you had Jock Landale, who got 12 minutes and didn't really give you much. Aaron Holiday didn't really give you much. Jeff Green didn't really give you much. Jermaine Samuels Jr. He didn't really give you much. So I think as the season goes on, especially once we get Amin and Tari back, our bench is going to start to get a little bit better. But that's probably the glaring issue I have right now, because the starting lineup, like I said, combined plus 47 on the year. That's about plus 9.4 as far as plus minus per game. That'll work, right? In the West, it's competitive. A lot of teams are vying to obviously be playoff bound and things of that nature. We can get in that mix if we get a competent bench, right? Because when you have a night where Jabari Smith, Fred VanVleet, and Dylan Brooks combined for 68 of the Rockets' 107 points on 49% field goal shooting and 37.5 from 3, that'll work. Against most teams, that's going to work. Now, I do understand that De'Aaron Fox did not play, right? And De'Aaron Fox is obviously a big, big part of what the Sacramento Kings do, right? He is their anchor. He is their fulcrum on offense. He is their point of attack guy. He's the lead. He's the lead guy. Malik Monk, you could say, is probably the most explosive scorer, right? Especially coming off the bench. But as far as the guy who does everything for them, it's De'Aaron Fox. And his presence was sorely missed, because as much as I love Kevin Huerter, much as I love Davion Mitchell, Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, I love all those guys. They can all play, right? But if you don't have a point guard that's able to attract the defense, that is a triple threat, that is a 3-level scorer, when you don't have that, it bails the defense out. Not everybody can stay home. Everybody can be honest, Guys don't have to hedge one way or the other. We can all just straight up play basketball, and it just comes down to who's better, right? And respect to Kevin Huerter and Davion Mitchell, they're not better than Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green. And even though Jalen Green had a bad game, that still speaks volumes. Because like I said, he was making a lot of really, really great decisions, especially in the fourth quarter, which is where really the game got broken open, right? We outscored them 36-21 in the fourth, thanks in large part to some of the decisions that Jalen Green was able to make in the fourth. Like I said, had 4 assists in the fourth, pivotal to us being able to pull away halfway through the fourth quarter to win that game. 107-89, right? And like I said in my last video I posted Wednesday, I felt like if we were able to split with De'Aaron Fox playing, I'd be happy. Now, we don't know if De'Aaron Fox is going to play tomorrow. I believe he's not going to play. So I don't expect anything different. Obviously, I expect the Sacramento Kings to come out with more fight, with more intention and things of that nature. But I think we could beat them again because we showed it, right? At the end of the day, without De'Aaron Fox there, we can put Fred VanVleet on Kevin Huerter, make Kevin Huerter handle the ball. We can give it to Davion Mitchell, make Davion Mitchell try to make plays. All of a sudden, most of their offense is probably going to have to run through Sabonis. And Alperen Sengun can match Sabonis. He can match him, right? On the other hand, you got Jabari, you got Dylan, who's been shooting lights out, Fred VanVleet, who can go off whenever he needs to, Jalen Green, who had a bad game, who's liable to go off for 20 or 30 on you, right? So we've got some pieces that I believe will allow us to get the second win against Sacramento and go 3-3, right? Which is great. It's great to be 2-3, especially we got to understand for a little bit of reference. Last year, we didn't get our second win till game 11 to put us at 2-9. We get our second win on game 5. So we're already on an upward trajectory, right? And that's something that you want to see. That's something that we've been clamoring for. And let me tell you something. This is probably the best the Rockets have looked in the past 3 years. And I'm not exaggerating. Seriously, for Rockets fans, you know it's true. Last night's effort was the best we looked in about 3 years. And I love it. I love the defensive intention. I love the fact that we're moving the basketball. Like I said, we're top 10 in assists. That's not by accident, right? Fred VanVleet, for all his shooting struggles, he's been absolutely amazing moving the basketball, playmaking for other guys. You see guys like Jabari gaining confidence. Dylan Brooks doing what he does, right? Being a competent 3-and-D guy who can score in multiple ways and who also has the ability to defend the opposing team's best player. Alperen Sengun. Obviously, he and Fred VanVleet are top 20 in assists. I believe Fred VanVleet is 6th. Alperen Sengun is 20th in assists right now. Against Charlotte, he became the youngest center to get 500 career assists ever in the league. So we've got a lot of pieces that we can run our offense through. We have a lot of pieces that we can succeed with. And as long as we continue to preach player movement and ball movement and also communicating on defense, making sure when we're in our 2-3 to man schemes that we're not losing track of any backdoor cutters or guys cutting from any opposite sides of the wings or from the slots or anything like that. And also making sure that we're staying attached on high screens and maybe even side screens and things of that nature, pin downs, all those type of things. We got to make sure we continue to lock those things down because when we do, great things will happen, and we saw it last night. So with that being said, guys, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to me talk about my Rockets. I love this team. I know fellow Houston Rockets fans feel my sentiments when I say I'm extremely proud of what we were able to witness last night, and hopefully we can replicate it on Monday, right? But with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for listening to me talk. I appreciate you guys. Anybody that clicks on this video and patronize what I have to say, I appreciate y'all. Before I get out of here, please, please, please like, share, subscribe. Also, follow me on IG at coalition.hoops and on Twitter at coalitionhoops. I'll see y'all later. Take it easy.